Hi everybody, Elaine Williams here. Happy Monday. I am so grateful because it's actually, sorry this is a little crooked, it's actually, I don't know if I made that better or worse. It's beautiful. It's sunny. I'm like, whoa, I think got up to 60 this weekend. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I do a speaker training. I help speakers become more engaging and more entertaining. And hi, Melissa. Hi, sweetheart. I was just thinking about you and how I was like, I have to call her. We have to touch base. We said we were going to support each other more. So, I've been doing this free speaker training, and last week we had the step 1, which is all about connection and how to really connect on an emotional level. And then, hi, Jeff. Hi. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time. Wow. Cool. So I'm talking about my Facebook challenge, Jeff and Melissa, because I'm doing a really cool free training Wednesday night. So I'm doing like a fun little Facebook challenge. So if you do Facebook videos, or if you speak on stage or virtually or podcasts, or, there's so many ways people are just getting out there to share their message, their business, their purpose with the world. So last week we were talking about connection and confidence. And today we're going to talk about stories, which I know both of you love because Jeff, you're in the arts forever. And Melissa, you are a wordsmith with what you do. And I just love stories for so many reasons. My parents divorced when I was 4, and back in that time back then, people didn't get as divorced as often as much as they do now. And so, it's devastating in any age, in any era, but I remember just like searching, like, where's my family? What happened? And then I found theater. And the first show I did was The Sound of Music. And I was like, oh my God, like it's love. People love me and there's applause and there's like a theater family. And I'm so grateful because, it was pretty rocky growing up in a very alcoholic, abusive home. And when I went to visit my mother in Europe one summer, and I almost didn't come back because it was so painful. My stepmother just hated me, and she really did everything she could to make my life hell. And the only reason I didn't run away was because of my musical theater director and teacher, Ms. Bircher, and I knew that I wanted to work with her. And I'm so grateful because if I had run away, I think I probably would be dead or into some kind of slavery or on drugs or like, a slow, horrible death. So, theater has saved my life many times. So that's one reason I love stories. And if you think about stories, stories have been around since the cavemen. That's when we first started telling, sitting around the campfire doing whatever they were doing or drawing those paintings and those pictures. So it's as old as humanity. And I think that's one reason we love stories. how the billion-dollar industry of TV and movies and plays, and people love to go escape. And I've been thinking a lot about it. One of the things I think is sometimes life can either be very stressful or overwhelming, and sometimes it can be just kind of boring or mundane. A lot of the things we do, laundry, put gas in our car, a lot of times we're doing a lot of the same things. And so I think that's one reason people love stories. They love to go watch other people's stories because it can give them something to sort of hook onto. And sometimes we can't see ourselves, but we can see ourselves in other people more easily. And so stories are just such a great way to learn. So that's, one of my points about story. And then, and it's how we remember. I've been in the hotel, restaurant, comedy club business for a long, long time. Hey, Rochelle. Hi, sweetheart. And I would remember my customers' stories. I wouldn't remember their name, but I'd be like, oh yeah, that guy. He has 2 dogs and 2 golden retrievers and 2 kids, and he lives on Long Island. I could remember like all the things about his life, even if I couldn't remember his name. And so I just think stories are how we remember, how we store information, how we connect. And it's also how we connect emotionally. Because if I was just standing up here going, okay, Facebook Live challenge, work on framing and the angle, and make sure that it's boring. Hey, Carolyn. Hi, sweetheart. So stories are just a great way to have levels and have people come along for the journey. Hey, Kim. Hi, sweetheart. Woo, I can't wait to talk to you. So today is Facebook challenge day 3. So if you haven't watched the first 2 videos, I suggest that you go back. Yes, totally. Real life stories. Absolutely. Hi, Johnny. Oh, this is so exciting. I feel like I have like a little, a nice little group here today on a Monday. So last week on Thursday, I talked about connection. And then on Friday, I talked about confidence. And thank you so much for all the interaction and the feedback. And I love when you send me things. And thank you for the hearts. It's really sweet. So if you haven't watched those, go back and watch them and leave comments below. And if you want to send me anything, let me know. And then today, I want you to be thinking about story. What's your story? What stories do you love and inspire you? And where do you struggle? I think that even though stories are so important, it's really hard to work on your own story with just yourself. It's kind of like, am I in the forest? Are these the trees? Is this a leaf? Am I in the forest or the tree? Like, it's really helpful, especially if it's, emotional and we all have pain and angst. So it's really nice to have somebody else's eyes on your story when you're crafting, and especially when you're crafting like your signature core brand story. And so I want you to start thinking about, what are you an entrepreneur? Are you a coach, a speaker, an author? What is the story of your business? And how did you come to create it? Most people come from a place of pain, or there's a problem and they wanted to solve it. Like everybody loves the Google story, right? Because it was these 2 wacky, brilliant grad students who started this thing in a garage, right? Or like the Zappos guy. He has a great story. And I love to hear all about his sort of foibles. I talk about this a lot. If you're on top of the mountain, yay for you. I can't relate to that. Really can't relate to that. I want to know how you climbed out of the mud. I want to know about the 4 business things you did that didn't work out, but that's what you learned, and that's how you got Zappos. This guy, it's an amazing book. But, and I think that's how a lot of times it's a great way to stand out. If you are sharing the brand of your business, and there's a story behind it. Think about it. Today's consumers are pickier than ever, right? We have more choices than ever. I was at Home Depot. There were like 67 different kinds of mailboxes and 83 different kinds of toilet seats. And I was like, no wonder we're all on Prozac. Like, oh my gosh, it's too much. It's too much. So stories are a great way to help you stand out from the crowd too. I was in Arizona in June, and there, it's fun to travel because you see things you don't normally see when you're home base. And there was this bread company, and I was at the grocery store, and when I picked up this loaf of bread, I burst into tears. It was this guy, I forget the name of the company, but he hires ex-convicts, and he says, it's so hard if you've gone to prison and then you come back. It's so hard to get a decent job and to be treated well, and that's why a lot of times people end up going back into crime or whatever, because it's just so hard to kind of get a leg up. And he started this bread company, and the details of it, and I was so moved. And I don't even really eat bread, but I bought the bread. I bought the bread because I wanted to support that. So to me, that's a great example of a poignant story that hooked me. And I bought something I didn't even want, that I don't eat. Now, I shared it I was with my sister and, whatever, but that's, to me, is such a great, great example. So what is your story? And it's okay, sometimes I remember, like, I've already worked on my story. I know my story. And, but that's what's cool is as you evolve and grow, yeah, it's such a great story. Thank you. And as a speaker, entrepreneur, coach, business owner, you're going to keep growing and evolving. So your story should too. And sometimes stories can get stale. So that's why I love working with my clients on their stories. And the theme, a lot of times people will go, okay, this is my story, da 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 da. And then I'll ask more questions, like another layer. And they'll go, oh, well, my superpower thing is I started doing this, and then I realized it, and this is nuance. And I'm like, that's it. That's it. A lot of times we have like this surface story, the small talk cocktail party. And then usually the gold is like under that. Tell me more. Well, why did you do that? And what was that about? And that's the juicy stuff. That's the gold. And I love to pull that out of my clients and my students. And it's, you know, it's hard when it's your own story because it's kind of like you have blinders on. So it's so great when you have a coach next to you who can kind of like, tell me more about that, dig into that. So that is the theme of today, Monday, sunny Monday. So I would love to hear from you. Either give me your core story, a signature story, a story that you love, or a story that you're working on. Leave the comments below, and I'm going to have some cool stuff to sign up for when I remember to post it. And then I wanted to share one other story with you. And I'm not on the internet as much as some people, but this picture went viral, and it was, I don't even remember where it was. It was like, I think it was like a third world country or like a poor country, and there was a picture of this little kid, and he was on a milk crate. He was on his knees on the cement sidewalk or the road, and he had this milk crate, and he had his book and his notebook, and he was trying to do his homework in the dark, and he was using the light through the windows of McDonald's to try to do his homework, because I guess he didn't have light at home, or maybe he didn't even have a home. And it was such a moving, like, I remember I just saw that picture, it just like, wow. And it was so poignant, and the picture went viral, and within a couple of hours had raised over like $100,000 or something to help this kid and his family. So that's the power of good storytelling, you know, like, that is the power. Or like, I love to talk, I studied advertising when I was on the 10-year plan at the University of Texas in Austin, and there was that famous Apple commercial that everybody had to study, and it was 1984, and they showed this one time during the Super Bowl, one spot, and it was Ridley Scott, the guy who directed Aliens, the first Aliens. And it's like, you see all these sort of skinheads watching this big screen, and it's very sort of gray and dark black, and they're all sort of mesmerized by this talking head, and who's very like Hitler-esque without the mustache, and they're just kind of in a trance. And then you see this one woman, and she's like running for her life with this big like anvil, and the thought police are behind her, and they're chasing her, and you know, it's very moving, and there's no, I think it was just music, there's no voiceover whatsoever, and you see them chasing her, and then she stops, and she does this thing with the anvil, and she throws it into the screen, and the screen like breaks apart, and all this light goes, and the skinheads wake up, like they were in a trance, and they wake up, and then it just says, on so-and-so, like February 15th, 1984, you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984. Apple computers. That's all it said. And the day that they opened, every single Apple store in the country, there were lines around the block from one ad during the Super Bowl. So that's the power of story. And that is my commitment, that I just love helping people so that they can tell a story that is that, like, wow, it just pierces your heart and stays with you. And I studied that back when I was in college. It's been a while, but like that commercial and the conversation around it has really stayed with me for, I won't say how long, but you know, a while. So those are my favorite, some of my favorite tips about stories. I'd love to hear more from you. I challenge you to go back and look at the other videos and play around with connection and confidence. And if you know somebody who wants to become a better speaker or more engaging, who wants to work on the crafting, the skills, voice, body, breath, how to stand, there's so much to teach and to learn and to give, and I love to do that. So I'm going to go for now, but thank you so much. I appreciate you dropping by, everybody, and I love you, and I hope to see you on stage soon, and stay tuned for more. And make sure you leave me a comment. Okay, love you. Bye.